Honestly, have never taken a break from running, like, ever. I get so stubborn sometimes where I'm just like, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, like, whatever.
The pass was made by Margot Loja, returning the favor.
It's Will Loja, second straight year. What a battle.
And the young man running for the hometown Terriers will win.
Let's go, Will, finish!
Now Will Loja taking it out.
Will Loja, Goober! Will Loja, we got
Will Loja, huge kick.
Welcome to the Kick, a Runners podcast. I'm your host, Will Loja. I love running and I love a good kick. Today's guest is none other than Ava Pravlik. She's a senior at the University of Florida and the marketing director of the Peak Pulse Run Club in Gainesville. She's also currently training for a half marathon and has incredible commitment to consistency and attention to detail and everything that goes into being a well-rounded runner. We're going to talk about her inspirational approach to the sport, and I know our listeners are going to gain a lot from her perspective. So Ava, thank you for joining me here on The Kick.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but first of all, I'm a little jealous. I think we just traded spots because I just got back from Florida, and now I think you're back ready for the semester there. How are you liking the weather? How does it feel to be back?
Well, I think I brought the cold with me because this week has been, like, freezing by Florida standards. I mean, all my friends who are from here have been, like, freaking out wearing their black puffers because it's in the 50s. But it'll warm up soon, I think, and it's nice to be out of the snow.
Yeah, and at least that feels good for you coming from the 20 and 30 degree weather
It
in
does.
Jersey. So you're well prepared. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had a blast out in Florida. Just like it felt so weird because I don't think I've ever really traveled to a warm weather place in the winter. So it was just such a strange adjustment to go from what January is in New Jersey to then having the Florida weather. But yeah, I gotta say I'm jealous for sure. Um, but yeah, has going you've been in Florida now for 4 years. Has going to University of Florida kind of made you more of a warm weather person? Do you feel like that's where you want to end up, somewhere where it's warm year round?
Yeah, everyone's been asking me about where I think I'll end up post-grad, and it's kind of a tough question because I love the warm weather. I don't like the cold, that's why I came here in the first place. And from a running standpoint, way easier to be consistent here because you don't have to worry about, snow or whatever, and I hate running on treadmills. But the reality is there's a lot more jobs up north and, like, in the city, so I don't know where I'll end up. Just kinda have to see where I get an opportunity, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on the treadmills. I don't like it either. But yeah, New York, definitely some good opportunities there and up north. I know you're an advertising major, right? That's what I
Yeah.
majored in at BU as well, so
Really?
can relate there. Yeah, awesome stuff. Are you like more creative side, or I'm guessing like copywriter? Because I did check some of your LinkedIn and like I was like, wow, your like about me section is so good. It's like 3 sentences, like a
Thanks.
copywriter knows how to keep things brief and clear, but that's just my hunch.
Well, that is what I was originally kind of looking at, but now I'm like AI stuff, I don't know. I'm kinda looking more at, like, the client-facing side, like account management. But I didn't know that you were also an advertising major. What are you, like, looking to do with that?
Yeah, I really liked so the way they broke it down at BU, it was I was creative and you could be like copywriter, art director. And I just didn't know which one I wanted to do. So I kind of like bounced back and forth, like was doing a little of each, but definitely my favorite opportunity was always to make the videos. So we did like case study videos for our campaigns. And I
Mm.
really liked the video production aspect. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities in the ad industry. My sister works in the ad industry. Yeah, AI is definitely shaking things up everywhere, but I think there's always going to be a place for advertising.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
on that note, we can get into the running and something that actually does go hand in hand with kind of advertising marketing. Peak Pulse Run Club. You are the marketing director of the Gainesville club there. Um, I don't know a ton about it, so I'll let you explain, what is Peak Pulse? And all I know is that it's massive. And every time I see your post about it, I'm super impressed by just the turnout and all these people so engaged with it. Super cool. But yeah, tell us about Peak Pulse.
Yeah, so I got involved with Peak Pulse when it started, which was in the summer of 2024. So the summer before my junior year of college. And I was home for break. And I saw a post on Instagram by Aiden Child. I didn't know him, but he had started a run club in Gainesville. And it was like him and like four of his friends they had like a little Canva post up on his Instagram. And it was like, Gainesville Run Club, like meet at this time or whatever. And at that point, I had actually been thinking, oh my God, when I go back to school, I'm going to start a run club because like it was kind of trending at the time. And I was like, I kind of want to get involved in something outside of just like my sorority. So like, oh, I guess this kid beat me to it. But I DM'd him on Instagram and I was like, hey, like this looks cool. Like, would love to be involved. Are you still going to be running in the fall? Because I'll be back in Gainesville in like August or whatever. He was like, "Yeah, like I'm really looking to grow it. Like how would you like to be like an intern or whatever and help me grow it?" So that was how I kind of got started. I got started on it like remotely. And then when I got back to school in August, there were probably like 15, 20 people showing up to our Thursday runs. It was once a week. And from there, I mean, it's crazy. Like the stuff that we talked about back then, we're like, oh, what if like one day we have like a sponsorship or like we have so many people coming that we have to like buy insurance with the park that we run at. And now it's like all those things and more have really come to fruition, which is really, really cool. Cause now we have events with like hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, we have an event tomorrow morning that we've already sold 300 tickets. And so it's just blown up really fast, which is really, really cool.
Congratulations, first of all, because that is so cool to be at, leading the charge in something like that. I did see there's like, is it maybe 6 locations now in Florida, and Gainesville was the first? Is that
Yes, yes. Gainesville was the first, and then from there we expanded into Tallahassee. Tallahassee has also like really taken off. I think their student base is like a little bit more inclined into like the health and wellness thing, not to diss UF students, but like they just are a little bit more culturally inclined toward it. So they've really taken off as well. And then we also have, I think, Boca, Orlando, the Keys, and those are a little bit smaller right now. But yeah, there's a couple of locations.
so is it kind of focused around like college age? Is it like the locations seem to be like around colleges? So does that kind of go hand in hand with the target you're trying to reach?
They are all near college campuses, but like I don't know, cause our run club, like, there's a lot of grad students that come, so not necessarily just undergrad, and also, I mean, we've had people as old as in their, like, 50s show up from, like, Gainesville, which is really cool. Um, so I would say yes, the target demographic, I guess, is, like, kind of college-age kids, but by no means is it limited to that.
I think Florida is just such a great place to start something like that because, just having just been down there, I was there with my sister and we saw some run clubs out there. And I feel like people are just very fitness minded and social down there. So I think it's a great state to kind of like start that and grow it. I'm so fascinated just by run clubs in general because I feel like I'm pretty involved in running, but I've actually never been to a run club, which I got to
Really?
change. I feel like that's crazy. Maybe Peak Pulse will be my first, but
Yeah.
I've never done it. Ran through high school, was on a team, ran through college, was on a team. Now post grad, I feel like I'm starting to learn like what running can look like beyond the team. And I think run clubs are a really important part of that because for me, it's been, still wanting to run in groups and I've been able to, reconnect with a lot of old teammates. It's kind of funny. We actually have like a unofficial, maybe it's not a run club, but we say it's like the Union County track club of alumni because it's like all people from our neighboring towns that we used to be rivals against and like people we used to compete against and now we're all friends. So yeah, it's definitely not a run club, but it is super important to run, with people. I think that's a big draw for me. I think it's a big draw for a lot of people. And I feel like run clubs it's more than just, the exercise. That's a great aspect of it, but the socializing and like all that. How has that been for you and like meeting people? I feel like it's something that people might not even be into running, but then they get into it because they want to be in the run club.
Totally, and I've seen that happen in so many cases where people get really involved and they started off not even being runners, but for me personally, that was like a big reason why I wanted to get involved in the first place because, coming to such a big school from, a totally different state, it was when I got here, it was a little weird socially just because a lot of people here are from Florida and they kind of already it seems like everyone already knows each other like from high school and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So that was why I joined a sorority in the first place. And I love my sorority friends, but I did feel like I was kind of limited to that because it was just like my little niche, my little community in like a big school. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to like expand that, meet some new people, whatever. Also people that are like-minded. I mean, I feel like run clubs, like you said, very centered on like health and wellness, whatever, and that's always been important to me. And I think it has definitely helped so much with that. I mean, I've met so many cool people. I know I saw you just did the Disney half. A few people from my run club did that as well. Um, and it's been really cool to meet people that are like in different life stages, grad school, whatever, but still love to run and stay connected to that. Just have found so many new friendships and seen other people go through the same thing as well, kind of wanting to I mean, I've seen people show up and literally not even know anybody there, and they just, like, walk around and introduce themselves, and it's such a welcoming atmosphere, and I just think that's so awesome to see people be able to do that.
There's nothing that makes me happier than being involved in a sport where that happens, and you hear it a lot. I think just running in general, obviously, so Ava and I went to the same high school. We didn't really overlap. I think you were getting into, the team and the sport a little bit more after I graduated. But
Yeah.
our high school is like a big running program. Like there were hundreds of people on the team. Definitely like one of the bigger sports at our school. But even still, I feel like more people from high school that I know now, like that didn't run are running now or like doing it in some capacity. And I feel like it's the only sport where you could say that. Like there's not more people playing football now than there were
Yep.
when we were in high school. So it's so cool to be, involved in a sport where it's like suddenly a lot more people are doing it. And it's the kind of sport that you can do beyond your competitive years or whatever it may be in high school. Super, super inspiring. But yeah, side note, run Disney. It was my first Disney race, as you mentioned, the half. It was so fun.
Yay.
Um, I went with my sister. It was her first half marathon, so it was really cool to see her accomplish that and run the whole thing, which was her goal. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Um, but you yourself, you're doing, I know, a lot of good training for a half marathon. Have you done one before, or is this the first one?
So, I have run half marathons unofficially on my own time, but this will be the first one that I'm, like, racing officially.
That's cool. Yeah, I was the same way. Like just my long runs were a half marathon, but then actually last summer I did my first like race half marathon,
Oh,
and
no.
it's like such a fun vibe to be, on a course and have people cheering you on and being a part of that environment. I think, yeah, if you're a runner who doesn't enter races, I highly recommend it because just being in that environment, like you don't even necessarily have to be racing, but just the support that you'll feel is super powerful. But what are your goals? I think your half marathon, is it coming up in like a couple weeks here? And what are
Yes,
you
it's February 1st. Um, yeah, in terms of goals, so I it's funny because I definitely slowed down a little bit in college, like, compared to high school, just because I really just run because I love it now. I'm not so much, pushing myself as hard as I did in high school. But, I have found that with, like, following this training program and really being dedicated to it, I've kind of gotten some speed back, which has been cool. So, I would love to run a PR. I say PR, but literally I'm going based off of, like, runs I've done in the roads of, like, Westfield. But so that would be I ran a 154 I guess it was 4 years ago at this point, like, freshman year of college, but I do think I can beat that, so I would like to PR.
I think you can too. Yeah, that's too old of a PR to
Yeah.
stay there any longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely being in that environment is just going to be 100 times better than doing the running on your own. But yeah, with something like the half marathon, I think people approach it in a lot of different ways. Some people, that's like their longest run they've ever done. Some people like overshoot it, and they've done long runs that are longer, and then they're just like trying to run the half faster. What is your lead up looking like? I think I saw on Strava you did like a 10 miler recently. Are you kind of building to the distance, or you're gonna like taper off now, or how's that looking?
Yeah, I did a 10 miler, I guess, 2 days ago, which felt pretty good. And then I think I'm gonna do another big long run next week, like maybe 12. And then after that, I'm gonna taper a little bit, I think. So
Nice.
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do the full 13 in my training because I know I can do it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, do you write your own training mostly? Do you have like a I said you had a running plan, but do you have like a coach, or does people offer some kind of half training plan?
So they don't, but it's actually a good idea, and I should talk to some of the other people about that. But it's not a bad idea to offer that service. But no, I've never really followed a training plan before, but I'm running this half with two of my really close friends, and one of them, she has used Runna as like a training app, and so I started using it and I actually really like it. It's like worth the subscription in my opinion.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard about Runna. So is Runna, it's basically you have like you pick your coach, and it's like your coach or their plan, and it's athletes you may know, like it could be a pro athlete, or it could be some, or am I thinking of the right thing?
I don't I they do have, like, coach profiles on there. I haven't even really looked at that personally, but what I like about it is, like, you can search for the actual race you're doing, so, like, I'm doing the Donna Half, so they have that information in there, and then you select, like, how many days a week you wanna run, if you wanna supplement it with, like, Pilates, weight training, mobility, they'll give you, like, plans for all of that and which days you wanna run, and then they basically just lay it out for you, like, a combination of workouts, long runs, and just easy recovery runs. Um, and then it'll give you, target paces, stuff like that. But I really like it just because I don't know, I've always trusted myself to kind of know how to train for stuff, but like this just gives me a sort of structure that I can definitely appreciate.
Yeah, having the accountability too. Like
Mhm.
I know what training should look like, but it's still so much harder now post having a coach where you're like, oh, like I don't know, like sometimes being given the thing, like it just sets you to do it. But that's really cool. It sounds like it's definitely very personalized. I think I heard that Rana was bought by Strava, so it sounds like they're all kind of working in tandem now, but that's super cool. So sounds like I think you said Peak Pulse was founded in like 2024, somewhere around
Mhm.
there. So
Yes.
that was like halfway through your collegiate time, right, at UF. So
Yes.
what did running look like in that between time where you finished high school running competitively? You didn't have Peak Pulse yet. How were you running? Did you take a break? What did it look like?
Honestly, have never taken a break from running, like, ever. Um, It was weird, like, I'm sure you can relate to this now, seeing as you're, coming off of even more so than me, another 4 years of being on a team. It's weird not having that anymore, even though it's an individual sport at the same time, like, my team in high school was always so important to me, and it was just weird not having that, I don't know. So freshman year, I actually did, run with there's a Florida Run Club, like, it's associated with the school. Um, so I did that. I liked it. It was just I don't know, I didn't necessarily feel like I fit into the culture so much, which is part of what inspired, like, Peak Pulse and how it's a little bit different also. And those are great people. I mean, I still, like, keep in contact on social media or whatever. But then sophomore year, I did probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. I decided to run a full marathon, and I actually signed up for a race, but I didn't fully realize how different that is from a half marathon and other longer distances that I had already done. Because 26 miles is no joke, as I learned the hard way. So I kind of just went into it with the mentality like, oh yeah, I can run 26 miles. Like, what? I'm gonna stop? Like, no. So I did do it, but it was like one of the worst experiences of my life. It was awful.
Wow. Well, I want to say congrats because it's almost all the more impressive, but I'm also sorry that you had to go through that. Yeah, I did not know you've done a marathon. That's pretty cool. I've done one myself as well. Yeah, definitely no joke. I think the thing that stood out for me is like when you're running that long, there's now a whole new aspect of fueling where you've got to be taking gels and you have to kind of practice that in training. And I don't know that I handled that the best way because it's just so foreign to, I guess, probably both of us, is that aspect of the fueling, which I don't luckily, I don't have to do that when I run a half, because I think it's like, that 2 hour sweet spot. If you're going to be running for longer than that, that's when you really are going to need to incorporate fueling. But yeah, that's what I felt like with the marathon. I was like, yeah, this is a different sport. This is extreme endurance. But
Yeah, it was crazy. And on the topic of gels, I didn't practice that at all. Like literally went for my like long runs, didn't bring gels, whatever. Like I get so stubborn sometimes where I'm just like, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, like whatever. But that's just stupid. Like, don't do that. Um, and so I brought gels and like a water pack to the race. And then I hadn't tried it on beforehand, so I like was warming up with it on. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so bouncy. Like I can't wear this on my back for 26 miles." So I just left it in my car, didn't bring gels, didn't bring water. So I ran the whole thing on a protein bar, and I'm telling you, I was so sick after. Like it was so bad. It was so
my
awful.
my goodness, I did not expect these marathon horror stories to be these are gold in a way. I'm glad like now we can laugh about them because it's happened and it won't
Yeah.
happen again. But do you plan on like returning to the marathon distance with your experience now and maybe a little smarter approach?
Maybe. I would say I probably will do another one at some point. It's a lot. Like I'm not convinced that my body is really built for that, but like it's still I would like to redeem myself from the last experience and kind of enjoy it a little bit more than I did. So quite possibly, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'll look forward to seeing that if that comes. But first up, we've got the half. I think it's a great distance. I feel like maybe people overlook it because it sounds like it's half of the real thing, but
Mhm.
the half marathon is just like such a perfect distance. Like it's long, but it's not, yeah, you're not getting to that point where, fueling's really a big factor and things like that. So I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. I think I might set my sights myself on doing more halves rather than fulls for the time being.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about you mentioned kind of with your run up plan having different aspects of it with like Pilates and strength training, things like that. And I've noticed your Strava, by the way, great follow. Ava keeps it fun. You don't have the boring morning run, unedited, afternoon run. You're gonna get some good quality content. But I've seen you do like strength training, core, Pilates. I did those things in high school and college when it was, required. In college we lifted twice a week and we were in the weight room and like it was all almost like we had to do the work, but it was taken care of for us. Like we had to do it and you went with your team and it was much easier to get yourself to do it. Now I definitely don't lift as much. I definitely don't do core as much. I feel like it's a lot harder to like hold yourself accountable. But yeah, doing those things now, I guess I never did Pilates, but core and strength work. How do you kind of like motivate yourself to keep that a part of your routine and hold yourself to that?
I definitely agree with you. It was a lot easier to do those things when you had a coach telling you what to do and when. And I'm sure you're the same way. I love to run. I'm not as big of a fan of lifting and stuff like that. So it's hard, like, but for me, the motivation to keep up with that stuff is really just the fact that I've dealt with so many running related injuries. I mean, I've lost count of how many stress fractures I have had. I've had so many stress fractures. And it's always such a bummer when something like that takes you out for, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. So I just know that if I don't do that, I have a much higher chance of getting injured. So that's kind of what motivates me to do it. But running makes it a lot easier, I will say, because they tell you, like, they give you a plan and like tell you which days you should do it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that could definitely be something I benefit from because, like you said, that is one of the key things in staying healthy. I think for me, top thing is probably sleep, and then all of the like strengthening and stuff is right there with it. Um, yeah, coming back from injuries though, not fun. I had my fair share, like my first 2 years of college, and it was really tough being like when you come back from the injury, like you're alone in workouts. Like I was like getting dropped and everything, and it was like, wow, it is gonna be such a grind to get back, but I was so thankful to be running again, so that was part of it. But yeah, what can you kinda say about coming back from those injuries and, like, you've been knocked down so many times, but you keep getting back up, and I love that.
Yeah, that was kind of my like personality trait on the high school team. Like my coach gave a whole speech at the banquet my senior year talking about how he can't believe I never quit running because I got injured so many times. Um, but yeah, definitely agree with what you just said. It's really discouraging, not just to be taken away from something you enjoy for so long, but then to come back and feel like you're kind of at square one and you're not doing what you were doing 10 weeks before. It's harder. Um, and then there's, that anxiety also. I feel like that's a big part of it, or it was for me, like, oh, this doesn't necessarily feel completely right. Like, oh, it's a little sore, whatever. But yeah, it was for me, it was just like I really have always loved running. Like I it always did it from a place of genuinely enjoying the sport. So I kept coming back in spite of all of that.
I can see eye to eye on that for sure, and I think it's always nice to talk to somebody who feels that way because so many people just are like, "How could you love running?" Like, it
Mhm.
sucks. I'm like, "Yes, sometimes, like, I really do not wanna go for a run." But I have never once finished a run and been like, "Oh, I really wish I didn't do that." Like, so mad that I spent the last however much time doing that, like,
Yeah.
100% success rate with being happy that I went out and ran.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you mentioned high school, the banquet, getting that recognition. One thing that really impacted me from my high school career was being able to be a captain. So the way our high school does it, I'm guessing it was still this way when you were a senior, but you can only be a captain when you're a senior each year. Like the team elects captains. There's usually four of them, and then that is like a big role. Like for a team that big, a team that serious about competing, like being a captain was something that definitely allowed me to grow as a leader. I know you were able to become a captain your senior year. How do you think that not only affected, leadership qualities, but also kind of paved the way for you to continue running beyond high school? Not that you wouldn't have anyways, but I do feel like that definitely plays a role.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was a big job, big responsibility. Also, not to mention the fact that, I played some other sports in high school. I played basketball and volleyball, and like being a captain for such a big team is just so different. I feel like. I mean, you have so many people because it's not just varsity; it's also JV and the freshmen. There's like, I don't even know how many people are on that team. Like, it's a lot. Um, so on the one hand, I feel like that definitely shaped who I am even now as a leader in general because I don't know, it was a really big role, and, like, I also wanted everyone to feel like I knew them even if I was a senior and they were, like, a freshman, um, and I don't know, not to, like, pat myself on the back too much, but I think I did a pretty good job, like, kind of creating more of a team culture because as I was going through the program before being a senior, like, as an underclassman, I felt like it was a little bit disconnected as a program just because, like I said, it was so big and, like, I don't know, it didn't necessarily feel as much of a close-knit team, so that was something I really, really tried to accomplish as a captain, and I think I've kind of carried that with me to today, like, in leadership roles, just trying to make everyone feel heard by, like, even people that might be older than you or in a position of power, um, and then in terms of continuing to run, I mean, I don't know, like you said, I definitely would have always ran, but it gave me a good appreciation for the culture of running and what that can look like, so I feel like that's shaped how I approach peak pulse as well.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, I should mention when I was finishing high school, it was like pandemic, COVID, everything. So
We're
I definitely felt like, yeah, like it's gonna be weird for the team to kind of handle this and like come back from this. So I feel like you were probably a big part of that kind of comeback and reviving the team culture and bringing that all together. So anybody who was on the team while you were at the helm, definitely lucky to have your leadership there. Um, but yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about Peak Pulse then because you are a leader there. You're the marketing director. Um, what do you think it's going to look like now? Like you're finishing, about to finish college. Like how you might not necessarily know, but how do you think you'll be involved going forward? And yeah, what's it looking like?
Yeah, I have been thinking about that a little bit recently. It's kind of sad. Just, you know, everything is coming to an end, obviously, very soon. But as I said, I don't necessarily know where I'm gonna end up. So it's like I might be in Gainesville through August. I really don't know. Um, it's hard because some of the other people that are leaders, they like live in Gainesville, so they're very established, like they're gonna stay here or whatever. I don't necessarily have that same plan, but I don't know. I mean, at the same time, we've started clubs in other locations, so I'm like, maybe I take it with me wherever I go. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, Peak Pulse, New York or New Jersey. Like, come
Uh,
on, that'd be awesome.
right? Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's interesting. I looked at University of Florida, and it just wasn't in the cards for running. I wanted to be, running on a team in college, and Florida was maybe a little bit above where my times landed in high school. But great school. Always thought Gainesville was so cool. The swamp.
Mhm.
But yeah, being I think they called it an out-of-state or gator.
Yeah.
Gotta gotta be a little bit like, yeah, you don't necessarily know if you're gonna be around in that area. And I think it's exciting though because you're going to be able to do, what you want to do, go where you want to go. And for now, just like enjoy this last semester of college. It's the best. It's the best. I don't know what UF does for seniors, but I know at BU we had so many, like beyond just graduation, we had like a senior week and they really pulled out all the stops for us, I think, so that we donate to them one day. But no, they treat you well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So as we wrap up, we do have a little tradition here on the Kick where we like to finish episodes fast, just like we finish races. So we end with 10 rapid fire questions, and we're gonna see how fast is Ava Pravlik's kick. Are you ready for that?
All right. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, they won't be too crazy. Um, but I think the goal has become now on the show, like try to get it under a minute. We've had pretty much everybody get under a minute. No pressure.
I'm gonna be
But
like the one person that doesn't do
no, no, you're not. You're gonna be
it.
great. So yeah, the clock will start after I ask the first question. I'm gonna time it here, and here we go. Okay. Ideal temperature for a run.
55.
Favorite song to run to.
Ooh, right now it's the song I Run, like the one that got in trouble for AI.
Best form of cross training.
Um, Elliptical,
A race you dream to run someday.
New York Marathon,
Favorite running shoes right now.
Brooks Adrenaline.
Favorite running workout.
Uh, I like repeating 1Ks right now.
Favorite sport to watch at UF.
Basketball,
Best best day of the week for a long run.
Saturday.
What's your Jersey bagel order?
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
What's the best running club in Gainesville?
Peoples.
Boom! 44 seconds.
Yes, let's
44
go.
seconds. That is that a record? That's right at
No.
Delta. I think that might be the second fastest ever.
All right, I'll take it.
You were flying through. I was like not ready to ask the next question. I was like, wow. Um, yeah, that's second fastest of all time. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I'll
You
take it.
actually beat my good friend who's also a Westfield grad. He was 44.3 seconds. So yeah, so you're top Westfield grad ever. But that was great. Wow.
Thank
Good
you.
answers too. I can't even like remember right now what all 10 of your responses were, but you said something about favorite song was like one that got in trouble for AI. I don't know if I know about that.
Uh, Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like I think they're called like Haven or something. It's like they got in trouble because the vocals were AI and everyone was so mad. So then it got taken off of platforms and they added real human vocals to it.
Oh,
But
but
it's a good
your favorite is the human vocals one, or
yes, human
okay,
vocals.
good. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's a crazy world. I saw there was like the first AI voice to hit like the Billboard Top
Yeah.
100.
So freaky.
It's weird. I don't like it. I think it's strange. I saw a reel where like the song was being used and everybody was commenting like this is such a beautiful voice. I was like, there's just something weird about it. It's like when it's not a human. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
I don't like it either.
It's a weird world we're entering, but
No.
yeah, we'll see. Just one thing that like my professors always said from a creative standpoint was like it's just going to raise the standard. Like now you can't have mediocre advertising. You're going to have to
Yes.
step it up.
Very true.
So yeah. But great having you on the kick, Ava. Uh, really awesome final 10 questions. That was a thrill. Wait, which sport did you say was your favorite? I kind of butchered that question, but
Basketball.
basketball? Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like that would be awesome. I
Yes,
was
it
thinking
is.
basketball or football, but March Madness coming up.
Well, yes, football is just a little bit painful because we don't win very much anymore, but basketball is at least promising, so it's fun to watch.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think was Florida. They were a 1 seed last year.
Yeah,
Or
we won the Natty last year, and
oh,
then we entered this season being ranked third, and then we took a minute to figure it out, so we were losing, but now we're like back on the come up. The team looks good, so
well, it's a tough act to follow when you win the national title. But were you able to like go to any games, or that must have been so fun following along?
it's hard now because we're good and they don't charge for basketball tickets. Like football is the only sport where you have to buy tickets. So if you want to go to a game now, you have to line up like at 8 in the morning. It's just so bad.
Okay. At least you don't have to camp out. I feel like some schools, it's like overnight camping, but I guess you are kind of camping out if you're going there at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, and it's like I will do it because it's my senior year. I'm like I will do it one of these games. I will do it, but like it's hard because you basically have to throw your whole day away to sit in line. But I'll do
Ugh. I'm sure it's like a fun vibe, like a
it. Yeah,
tailgate kind of vibe.
yeah.
That's cool. That's so fun. Well, Ava, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck in your half marathon coming up. Can't wait to see how you do. I'm sure you'll set a new PR
Thank
and yeah, keep up the awesome work with Peak Pulse. Really, really cool things going on there. If anybody's listening and they're in the well, not even Gainesville area, anywhere in Florida, it seems like you've got a
Yeah,
location. Hit up Peak Pulse because they seem like an awesome run club. It just looks so fun.
thank
Um, and yeah, cheers to 2026, a healthy, strong running year, and everything else that goes along with it. Thanks for coming on.
thanks so much.